Hi, everybody. It's Stacy Sobel from Salon Today, and I'm here today with Scott Missad, the president of ISBN, and Jessica Iturralde. Okay, I messed it up. Say it for me, Jessica.
Iturralde.
Iturralde. We practiced, and I still
Got it.
messed it up. But thank you very much. And she's the executive director, and we're here to talk about ISBN, which is kind of an exclusive membership, but you all have a wide reach. Kind of talk about who is ISBN and who are the ISBN members.
Well, thanks for having us, Stace. ISBN is the only real gathering or association of what you would call chain salons relative to the industry. So specifically speaking about kind of multiple locations, multi-units, and as you know, I think most everyone knows that multi-unit locations have differences, nuanced differences than individual locations, and so it's a group where we can all come together and share best practices, share networking and marketing and sales ideas and how we're all doing, and as well as being given information that's really meaningful to the membership.
Great. And Jessica, talk about the reach that ISBN has, because you have these members, but then there are so many employees that work for them, and it has quite a big impact on the beauty industry when you look at everybody that ISBN touches.
It does. Collectively, the group has over 10,000 locations. So our association represents that piece of the industry. We have members that are, with thousands of locations. And then we have a new group of members. Just this last year, we had 9 new members, and those members had locations that are 10 locations, 50 locations. So we really have a wide range of owners that are joining our association that have locations in every bracket. So over 10,000, I think it's over 9 billion plus in sales that our group represents, and growing, obviously. We intend to have even more growth this year with our membership. And I can forecast that our numbers will definitely represent a lot more this coming April when we have our conference.
And I think it's important too. We're really trying to expand that. We traditionally have been really kind of salons in U.S. and Canada, and we're really trying to open that up to really anybody in beauty that's got multi locations, right? That drives the business. To Jessica's point of view, it's a wide range of salons from, as you know, the Jean Juarez, which I'm associated with, to a Sports Clips, if you will. So they're varying different degrees, regional and national, but all with one thing in common: trying to help build businesses that are next generation thinking relative to employees, and having them succeed and thrive, and that's really what it's all about.
And you both know Salon Today, we talk salon business day in and day out, but at the level of an ISBN member, there are different things that the independent mom and pop shops don't have to think about as much, like licensing across state borders and franchising and all these other things. So there are there's different layers of business that you all talk about that's more complex and different than we do on a day-to-day basis.
I think that's right. And I think from my standpoint, I will speak for myself, and I know Jessica knows this as the president of the association. The bigger issue is what commonalities do we have? I mean, like as a multi-units, I think there are some significant commonalities of interest that we have, that when you go to the broader base of the industry, it's really difficult to find those commonalities, because there's every different type of salon that exists and every type of kind of interest that exists, and we're more focused in what we talk about. And I think we're going to talk about those things later, but fundamentally, we're very much involved in the kind of what we would call government relations relative to the activities of creating benefits for licensed hairdressers to be able to cross state borders and be able to work in any salon without having to retest. If you can even believe in this day and age that you could be a 20-year hairdresser in one state and not even be allowed to work in another. So, I mean, those are things that hamper individuals. They hamper their ability to continue to grow and continue to flourish. So we're very involved in that activity. We're also very much involved now at a very high level in the push to really drive the tip tax credit legislation through relative to pro beauty, which, Stacey, as you know, I mean, everybody talks about helping salons and helping grow, but it is the single biggest opportunity for profitability and reinvestment in the industry of any legislation at all. And so we're very involved in pushing that. We've recently just hired 2 people that were once involved with it through the PBA. They are now involved in ISBN, and we are really moving that needle and I think it's safe to say we're taking the lead on that.
Oh, that's good. That's great to know, because it's something I was on the Hill probably 15 years ago and we're talking about this, and we're still fighting for that, but it's good to have another arm of the industry take it on and push with it, because
well, we believe we have the membership to do it. I mean, it's as you know, I could go on a soapbox, but nobody wants to hear it about how things move in government. But it does, you know, as an individual, it's very difficult to get anything done. But as a collective group representing what our organization represents, it does make a difference.
So talk about some of the benefits that your members have by being involved in ISBN.
Sure, and I'll let Jess talk about it. I think certainly we have a once-a-year conference, and the industry has got no shortage of conferences, but for ours, it's a very specifically driven to that multi-unit location. We spend a great deal of time on consumer trends. We spend a great deal of time on economics relative to the economy at large, but also in our industry. What are the trends? What's happening there? We also spend a lot of time on nurturing a culture of employees, because all of our members, whether they're franchisees or franchisors, we drive the traditional employer-employee relationships in our location. So how do we nurture, grow, recruit, build, train, or really the backbone of the industry, which is the individuals that are standing behind chairs every day or in a massage room or whatever it may be. And so that's where we put a lot of focus. As I mentioned, the government relations aspect is not only costly, but also critical to the survival of our industry at a high level, and also giving options to the people that work in it. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what gives people value, and having options to be able to go cross country if they wanted to and still carry on the profession they adore. That would be phenomenal, right? And so we spend a lot of time on those issues, as well as kind of the greater good of the industry from philanthropic. We have shared philanthropy kind of ideas and concepts, and that we share and work through and hope to deliver as well on a kind of a greater good aspect of the industry. So I don't know, Jess, if you want to add to that.
Sure. Yeah. What I would say is that being a member of the association really just allows you to get connected with other owners that are in the same type of business model. And what it's great is that many of this association's been around for quite a long time, and there's a new wave of new owners that are coming in, and the mentorship that is being built by coming to the conference and meeting with other owners of the same has been super valuable. It's great to have an owner of thousands of locations mentor someone that's maybe 50 locations. So the relationships and the networking and the mentoring has really been a key value. And then the conference, it is members only, and we want to keep it that way. it's important to we like to keep it tight and small because we can keep that intimate experience where people are not getting lost in the crowds, but really having that time and space to learn from each other. Being newer to the association, one of the things that I found has been super valuable, super special about this group is that they've even said it themselves. Technically, we're competitors, but we are sitting next to each other to like have a conversation and learn from each other. And I've heard many times throughout the year where other members are getting calls from new members or old relationships that they keep going and just asking for help. And so that is really what ISBN, a very strong core of what ISBN is about. And the association's conference once a year really just brings everyone together. And we have a little fun, we have a lot of business related, and we also have segments to learn from each other. We don't want to have a conference that you just sit and listen. We want to have engagement, we want to learn from each other. So we've incorporated a lot of segments within the program to kind of create that space where people can get really engaged. And I feel like that has been a huge benefit, what people share too, of why they come back and why they love being part of the association.
Yeah, I have been privileged enough to attend several times, and I know that the networking is really key and that you foster that with having people present best ideas, having those learning groups where you can attend a table with a certain topic and you discuss different strategies on it. Can you share any examples of members that have shared something that another member has adopted and it's been beneficial?
Okay, let me just speak to that just for a second. Because I just want to underscore what Jess just said. I think it's amazing when you can get into a room. Like I have people call me all the time and ask, hey, what would you guys do? Or can I come check out your place? Can we go to Gene Juarez or whatever it may be? And every one of the members, certainly every one of the board members, especially put themselves out there and say, like, if anything and everything we can do to help you, we're here for you. And we answer calls and requests personally. We do everything that we can do. One of my favorite segments that we have in our conference, but I think you could say it's a conference deal, but it's also carried out through everything we really kind of do. But we do the one big idea, and we have multiple members come present, like from a different perspective, different category, if you will, of the business. What was the best idea that they implemented last year? And then they'll take you all the way through it and show the marketing piece, if there was a marketing piece, all the way from top to bottom, share the results of what happened when they did that. I mean, that you just don't get that in, bigger programs or even business programs. You don't get really specific details at that level that can really help you go home and implement. The objective was, hey man, we're going to send these folks home with 6, 8, 10 great ideas that they have the tools to go home and implement tomorrow. And that's one really big example of how we do that on a formal level.
Great, thank you so much. So looking at the big picture for the industry, what do you think are some of the biggest issues we're facing right now, and how is ISBN trying to help their members get through it? That's a big question.
Yeah, you have a tendency to do that, ask these open-ended questions. Look, relative to government relations, which I already spoke to, that is an enormous issue. I can't even understand. If you think about it this way, the tip tax credit alone is 7.65% of all tips, like being credited. That's just an enormous issue. This whole mobility issue while it's really a big issue for chains, because many cases the chains are national and people want to transfer and then they can't, or whatever it may be. That I think that's a major issue. On a macro level, from my perspective at least, the industry is facing a crossroads unlike anything it's ever seen, in my view. The the shifting tides of consumerism is going to continue to put pressure on our industry. The continual shift of really what a salon is or isn't continues to if you want to call it this, fracture the industry, not necessarily in a bad way. I'm not suggesting it's negative, but it's continually putting a perception issue on our industry. I think that is a really big one. I think the schools will continue, and recruiting and bringing great talent into our industry will get more and more challenging until we continually do a better job as an industry, showing the general public that's interested in beauty that this is a viable career, and it's a viable income stream, and when I say career, that it's not something you just do because you can't do anything else. I mean, from my experience, I've been in this industry my whole life. The people that stand behind chairs and do what they do are some of the most incredible, hardworking,
creative,
but also, in my view, make significantly more money than anybody believes, and have the ability to do really wonderful things with the God-given talents they have. I think that's phenomenal, and we certainly want to do everything we can do on our side to drive that, because it's a blessing and a curse, right? As with all things, every strength is also a weakness if it's not properly developed and incubated. So, that's my point of view. I mean, we could go on for 3 days on this, but Jess, I mean, you might want to share something different relative to that.
Yeah, and you hit a lot, and I think in respect of what I've experienced in this last year working with the organization, a lot of the topics that continue to have a heavy conversation is about like retention and products. And I think about the masterminds group and what was most successful. Some of the topics that were just people were gravitating to have that conversation. It was around the client experience and the licensing reforms and the products. All of that came top of mind of areas that people just wanted to learn more and collaborate and figure out how we can attack some of these. And those are some are smaller, but still significant things that I think our group specifically is having, wanting to discuss more and find solutions. But Scott got a lot of, he nailed it.
Well, I live in it. You don't have to live in it.
No, I'm learning.
Well, thank you both very much.
Hey, Dace, can I interrupt you and just say one thing? Because I just want to kind of close, from my standpoint, at least close here. Our tagline is where business gets done. And I think that that's really kind of the critical piece to this. We are really all about furthering the industry first, because if we further the industry first, good things happen for everybody. That's really the truth. And so anyone that's got multiple salon locations, like in our world, I think it's 3 salons to kind of be a member, but has aspirations to be more, I would suggest to give it a shot and come out and check it out, because this is an association that's focused on the same thing that you are, which is trying to grow your business at a really high level. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you. And Jess, it's actually a good segue for you to talk about what's going to be a conference this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So the conference is April 23rd to 25th. We're at a brand new hotel called the Lowe's in Coral Gables. It's a nice, intimate location. So our program is really going to be, what's happening there, a very heavy networking location. So beautiful scenery. We have some great speakers that we will have. Dan Thurman. He is a really dynamic opener speaker that we just secured. Swan Sick is a former digital marketing head for Nike and Revlon. She's going to have a more marketing-driven conversation. And then we have Brian Bailu. He's an economist to provide data-driven analysis for the forecast and risk for the second half of 23 and 24. And we're continuing to build out the rest of our program, very data-driven, very specific to the trends in our industry. And then, of course, bringing in some of those staple programs like big ideas and masterminds so that our members can really share with each other and learn. So we're really excited about it, and I'll definitely, keep you up to speed with what we have, additional breakouts that we're going to have as well.
Well, great. Well, thank you both very much for giving us an inside look at ISBN and what you all are focusing on and how you're driving the industry forward. So we really appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
You too.
Thanks.